Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 laps and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Hope everyone is having a fabulous Tuesday. It is September the 19th. It is a great day to have a great day. Tuesdays are the best day of the week, and can't have a Tuesday without my guy Ben McKee of Go Vols 247. Ben, what it do? Good morning.
What it do? What's up? Good morning, Swain. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I want to apologize to you first. I was not in the best of moods after the game on Saturday, and after the game, you were trying to talk about the game, what happened, what didn't happen. And Ben, I didn't say anything back to you. I apologize, man. I was pretty upset, but I'm okay now. So I like to apologize, man. I probably should have told you that before, but I think you understand. We've known each other for a long time. I was not in a talkative mood, but I am now, Ben. Hi. Congratulations to your Steelers.
Thank you. Ugly win, but a win is a win. Take those every chance you can get. How many Tennessee fans would like to turn an ugly loss into an ugly win this morning?
All day.
And it's always nice to beat the Browns, especially with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. Heart goes out to Nick Chubb, man. He's actually one of my favorite players in the league.
I know.
The most underrated player in the league, which is weird because he's one of the best, but still doesn't feel like that guy's talked about enough, especially at that running back position. And it looked just like that injury he had in 2015 inside of Neyland Stadium against Tennessee. So that makes your heart hurt knowing that somebody's got to go through that type of gruesome injury twice. So hopefully he can bounce back better than ever. But it's okay. I forgive you. I'm used to you big time in me at this point. So it's all good in the hood.
No, that wasn't nothing about big time. It was just me and you, and walking through the tunnel.
I'll be honest. I wasn't upset that you weren't responding to me. I was nervous that you were going to swing on me like some of the Tennessee and Florida players were doing on the field. There for a moment, I was thinking to myself, let me go ahead and shut up and get to this interview room before Swain swings on me like I'm one of the players on the field.
I mean, I was glad to see us display some fight. I think we did that in the second half, but we didn't give ourselves enough time. And Florida had a really good game plan. Their defensive coordinator did a really good job. He's 30 years old, and he has a pretty good notch on his belt, being able to successfully shut down Tennessee's offense that has been so prolific over the last couple of years. You got to tip your cap to the Florida coaching staff. I thought Florida coaching staff had the disadvantage. I thought Tennessee's staff was better. I thought Tennessee's team was better, but that wasn't the case on Saturday. And that's sports. You have off nights. You have games where the opponent gets the best of you. It just stinks that it was versus Florida, and it was after watching this Florida team play the way they played against Utah and all the holes that they have with their roster. But there's power at playing at home. We see that, we experienced that over the last 2 years, how Neyland Stadium can be an advantage. And the Swamp is an advantage too. The key to this football game, one of the keys being, was to start fast and take the crowd out of the game. I thought Tennessee did a good job of that after the first touchdown. You allowed Florida to eat up about 7 minutes of the clock on their first possession, but you got the blocked field goal. You went down and scored quickly. The crowd was quiet, but you failed to keep the crowd quiet because Florida was able to go down and score with ease. And while doing that, had a 4-play, 75-yard drive, which included an embarrassing touchdown run if you're Tennessee, but a great touchdown run if you are ETN. Offensively, made some plays here and there, but not enough. I sit back, Ben, I watch kind of what is said here and there. Rarely do I get on the message board. I did not this past weekend. But I kind of sit back and watch, kind of get a pulse of the fan base. And before I go further, I want to say this. Players and parents, there's nothing for you on social media. Nothing for you. Tennessee played poorly. You know, college football and the SEC comes with passion. You know that anyone can say anything behind the keyboard. You know, I know, everyone listening knows that most of the people that say what they say behind a keyboard will not say it to your face. But you get on social media, you allow whatever is being said to bother you. If you know you're going to be bothered about what someone who can't do what you do, say some things to get you mentally and emotionally out of whack, don't get on there. It ain't for you. You know what's going to be said. So why get on there? There's not going to be a surprise. Like if you played well, you balled out, okay, man, you want to get on there, cool. But they're going to be roasting your teammates. It's not going to be anything good for you mentally, emotionally. You're not going to win an arguing match. You're wasting your energy. Stay off social media. There's nothing good for you. That doesn't take away from the fact that folks are disrespectful. Folks are crossing the line. But you can't control that. You can't control it. And knowing you can't control it, you need to control what you can control, which is your peace, which is your energy. Just stay off of it and go get back to work. Ben, when you lose a game the way we lost the game on Saturday, it's easy to point the finger here, point the finger there, make a list of people to blame. Y'all, when you lose like that, there's a long list. It's a long list. There's a lot of things that we did not do right. There's a lot of small things we didn't do right that turned into big things. If you want to blame the coaches, cool. You want to blame the players, cool. Everybody's involved. Everyone's accountable. Everyone is responsible. And everyone's going to take everyone to fix what we saw on Saturday for this upcoming Saturday in preparation for the next Saturday when you're hosting South Carolina at night. So, being out, pass the baton to you. I can talk for an hour and a half straight about Saturday. But that is not this type of show today. This is a show of back and forth today. So I want to get your point, man. I want to get your point of view and get your take, man. There may be some things I missed, I didn't think about that you have in mind, man. Love to hear your thoughts on Saturday. Even though it's Tuesday, we typically move on from the previous game on Tuesday, but hey, it is what it is. It's our first show of the week.
Well, I thought Billy Napier's playing offensively was really, really great as well. You mentioned the DC for Florida's plan, and he had a nice plan as well. But I thought Billy Napier's might have been the difference in the football game. I was incorrect in thinking that Tennessee would own the line of scrimmage, really on either side of the ball. But I was more surprised that Florida, at least in the first half, because the defense did get things figured out. In the second half, they only allowed 3 points, gave the offense plenty of opportunities to make that a one-score game, if not come back and win that game. So the defense at least got some things figured out in the second half. Billy Napier talked in his post-game press conference about being too conservative with his play calling, so that may have helped. But I thought the second half performance from the defense was more of what we were going to see in the first half. And I guess more specifically, the second quarter, when Florida just completely changed the course of that football game. And listening to Cole Kublik speak on his podcast, because he provides insight that I just cannot provide, but passing along something that he said, which makes sense in hindsight, is Florida likes to run a lot of stretches and get to the perimeter. That stretch play is designed to get outside the tackle and, again, get to the perimeter and try and get out in open space. And he thought that Tim Banks was maybe too aggressive in trying to defend the stretch play. And instead, Florida just kind of ran it right down the middle, right up Tennessee's throat. And that led to issues defending the run there in the first half, because Florida does run a gap scheme in terms of their blocking scheme. And you hear Tennessee's coaches since Saturday, especially Josh Heupel, talk about guys being out of their gaps, misfitting gaps, and that led to missed tackles. That led to big splash plays for Florida in the running game. So it seems like Billy Napier had a nice counter to what his offenses typically have on tape, and it maybe took a minute for Tim Banks to adjust to that. And by that point, it was already, the score was what it was at halftime. What was it, 26-7, if I remember correctly? So I thought that was interesting, because I thought Tennessee would do well against Florida's rushing attack. I was not impressed with Florida's offensive line against Utah, but obviously having Kingsley back, their center, that made a world of difference for them. They just had an extra edge to them up front along the offensive line, Florida did, and you could kind of see it in pregame with the way Kingsley was moving around and jumping around. He was kind of the Energizer Bunny for Florida, and that led to Florida finding success offensively. But aside from that, I thought it boiled down to three things for me, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to mention Joe Milton in any of these three areas. We can have a Joe Milton conversation, and that's not to say that I don't have Joe Milton concerns, because I do. I just don't think he was the biggest issue on Saturday. To me, it was the line of scrimmage, like we just talked about. More specifically, the offensive line. It was just flat out awful. There's no way to sugarcoat that. Joe was not able to do his job to the best of his ability because he didn't have a ton of time to make plays, and the holes in the running game weren't there like we saw the first 2 weeks either. The missed tackles were obviously a huge issue, and some of those tackles were just pathetic. I mean, it's really sad to hear Josh Heupel on a Monday say that some of those missed tackles were just simply poor effort. That should never happen. Should never happen. And then obviously the penalties, 8 of the 10 on offense, several pre-snap penalties. I believe 5 were false starts. 4 different offensive linemen committed one, and then McCollin Castles also committed one. Just you can't have that, and I don't know how you fix it, but the last 3 true road environments, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee has not handled the opposing crowd noise well. And Josh Heupel said yesterday that they practice it, but obviously it needs to be hammered home even more and emphasized even more. So he did say that they work on it, but it is different in a game, and they're going to have to figure out something to correct that, because it has not been pretty the last 3 road games at Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida.
We got to handle hard better. It's what Duke's women's coach, Kara Lawson, famously preached to her team, and it went viral. Road environments are not supposed to be easy. They're supposed to be hard. Home environments are supposed to be easier. The crowd's cheering for you. We got to be able to handle crowds cheering against us better. We got to handle hard better. And we haven't done that in the last 3 true road games. Vanderbilt don't count. You know why. We only had 22 first-half plays. 22. We had 11 plays in the first quarter. So Florida's offense did a good job of eating up the clock. And the way you eat up the clock is you convert on third downs. And Florida on third downs in the first quarter was 6 out of 7. That's insane. 6 out of 7 on third down conversions. In the second quarter, they were 1 for 1. So in the first half, they were 7 out of 8. The mind-numbing lack of awareness on third downs is enough to drive you crazy if you're a coach, if you're a spectator. Being out of position, the poor effort should never be an issue. See, as long as I've been doing this, man, I've always been a player's advocate. I feel like this was my purpose, to be able to share the perspective of a student athlete, because we had a lot of guys in the media for so long, and it's changed. You can kind of tell by how sports media has changed, especially at the professional level. Wasn't a lot of former players talking about the game enough. Not saying that people that don't play don't have really good insight and can't talk about the game, because they can. And there's a lot of folks that haven't played that talk about the game better than people who did play. But my approach has always been, hey, let's hear from the player's perspective. I'm not defending poor effort. I'm not defending poor effort. You got a job to do. That's come here, represent your family, represent that last name on the back of your jersey by how you handle your business on and off the football field. If you play hard, but you have a bad game, I'm gonna ride with you. Hey man, you have a bad game. We all have bad games. Just give you all for Tennessee. But when that is in question, I'm not defending you. Effort should never be a question. And it shouldn't be tolerated by anybody on this football team. There's seniors on this football team that need to be snatching other people up when they see that film. I'm sure they already saw it. I know they already saw it. And there's
some seniors that also need to be snatched up.
Oh yeah, for sure. They need to go ahead and take a seat and play some young guys. I don't know what people who watch football expect when the offensive line is not able to provide protection. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to know the play. I want to know the play or series of plays that we can run, because play calling was certainly criticized. But I want to know from anybody listening, watching, please use the text box. I want to know, what plays are we running with the performance of the offensive line on Saturday? Because play calling was called out. Oh, play calling was terrible. Oh, okay. Please share with me. Share with me, what are we running? What can we do? What can we do? That's what I want to know. We'll take our first break of the morning. It's been McKee Go Vols 247. I'm Jason Swain, live in the Low T Center studio. Do not go anywhere. Be right back.
You're listening to the Swain Event.
And you know this, man.
Here in Knoxville, we love it when a squirrel's in the checkerboards. But when there's a squirrel in our attic, that's all sides. When that happens, call Alpha Wildlife. They're Knoxville's veteran-owned and operated wildlife removal company. When unwanted critters put their feet up on your coffee table, call 865-224-6555. Let the Tennessee fans at Alpha Wildlife evict those unwanted tenants and set your home up with a winning defense to keep that wildlife where it belongs. That's Alpha Wildlife at 865-224-6555. They have locations in Nashville, Memphis, Chattanooga, and in parts of South Carolina. Check them out online at alphawildlife.com.
What's up, fellas? It's Swain. When it comes to health, there are numbers every man needs to know, including your testosterone number. I recommend going to Low T Center. They make it quick and easy to get your levels checked, and it's only $25. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with their on-site lab, you'll know your results in 25 minutes. Low testosterone levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, can cause lack of motivation and drive. It can raise your cholesterol, cause weight gain, and loss of muscle mass. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. Dead End Barbecue has you covered when you need the food to be on point for your next event. Go to deadendbbq.com to learn more or call 865-414-9417. Dead End Barbecue, the catering search is over.
Hey there, Swain Event crew. Just like fall sports, the Knoxville area real estate market is strong and growing stronger. We're an everything region. When you get the big orange itch to buy, sell, or invest, call me, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. Go Vols!
Looking for a different way to enjoy the show?
Yes.
Then check out Swain Event TV on YouTube.
Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Hope everyone is having a great day. Man, the weather is perfect outside. Oh, man. If I can slide in some yard work early Saturday morning before the game. And then Sunday, oh, man, it's going to be great. Because won't be getting back to Knoxville at 3 a.m. like this past Sunday. Away night game. The weather is perfect, man. Enjoy it. Get out there, get outside, enjoy the beautiful weather. Ben, have you thought about the question? I mean, you play video games a lot, or used to. I mean, you have a great imagination. You're a really smart guy. You've seen a lot of football in your life. Can you share with me what plays you got? Give me the Ben McKee playbook. What plays you got that we can run when the protection is not where it needs to be? And before you answer that, let me share one thing with you right quick. Go on my notes. You know how we watch film, Ben. You know how we watch film. Second possession for Tennessee. We put Jalen Wright in motion to the left. We sent a linebacker or defender that was responsible for Jalen Wright out of the box to follow Jalen Wright. Remember the first possession for Tennessee, Jalen caught a swing pass to pick up a third down. First pick up a first down on third down. It was a great pass. It was a great catch. It was just a great play. And so we give them the same motion. All right, we send Jalen Wright in motion to the left. There's 5 defenders in the box. 5. And we run our wide splits. 5 defenders in the box. We got 5 linemen, and we have a tight end. That's 6 on 5. And we run a quarterback draw. Joe Milton maybe picked up a yard and a half. So what plays we running, y'all? Ben McKee. Ben Thomas McKee. What plays are we running?
I've got nothing for you. My only, and also like I will be the first to admit that I don't know anything about calling plays offensively, defensively. That's why I passed along what Cole Kublik shared, because he is far more educated and experienced to talk about this than me. You are far more experienced to talk about this than me. So I try to refrain from questioning play calling one way or the other, offensive, defensively, because that's not my thing. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend to talk about something that I don't know. The only time that I wondered about a play call in that Florida game was the 4th and 1 play that ended up being very controversial because the referee accidentally kicked the ball and then respotted and then allowed Florida to substitute. And like I understand the aspect of in these short yardage situations that Tennessee is struggling with. If you execute better, it probably has a different result. But to me, that 4th and 1, and yes, again, I recognize all the craziness that happened in conjunction with that play, but setting that aside and just strictly looking at the play, everybody in that stadium knew Tennessee was about to try to run up the middle. Everybody. And it wasn't just a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat, 5 on 5, block your guy. Florida brought the entire house and just absolutely collapsed on Tennessee's offensive front. And it obviously went nowhere. That was the only time that I kind of raised my eyebrow at a call, because I felt like everybody, and obviously Florida, knew that Tennessee was gonna try and pound it inside, because that's what Tennessee does in those short yardage situations. And also, as I'm thinking, another one popped in my head. There are a couple times where I would have liked to have seen Tennessee get to the line of scrimmage on a 4th and 1, a 3rd and 1, and sneak it with this quarterback that you have that looks like Hercules, instead of sitting there looking at the sideline for 20 seconds, allowing Florida to get settled. I would have preferred to see them get up to the line of scrimmage and snap it real quick and use your quarterback that has all the physical attributes in the world. I think that would have been beneficial. So those were the only 2 times that I kind of raised my eyebrows. But to your point, it's really, really hard to call plays when your offensive line isn't giving protection. It isn't giving Joe time to push the ball down the field. And you hit the nail on the head. I thought about this all game long, about how you hit the nail on the head last week on the show discussing the offensive line and how you thought that was the reason that they weren't pushing the football down the field. I had a little too much optimism and was clearly wrong about that. But you hit the nail on the head. They're not able to push the ball down the field because the offensive line is not holding up.
Ben, I have no problem with you saying that everyone knew we were going to run the ball up the middle. I have no problem with you saying that. And maybe something different in hindsight would have been the correct decision. My response would be to you saying everyone knew what we were doing in the stadium. My response would be, so effing what? So what? Jerome Carver, Cooper Mays, Javonte Spraggins last year, you know how many times people knew we was running the ball up the middle and did it anyways? So what? It's a yard. Who cares? Man versus man. Who's the lowest man? Who's the strongest? Who wants it more? That's what it comes down to on 3rd down and 1 and 4th down and 1. Who cares if you know where the play is going? That's the time to man up. If you a dog, be one. That's the time. When they know what you're doing. I want it more than you. All the times in the weight room, when you're doing power cleans, when you're doing squats, when you're bench pressing, and you're encouraged to give one more rep. You don't think you have any more left. One more, and everyone's cheering you on. You got it. It's for that moment.
I feel you. I really do. I agree with you. I just felt like in that moment, Florida brought too many for Tennessee to block. Like I just simply thought that they were literally outmanned. Florida brought more numbers than Tennessee had to defend against in that moment.
Now, on a different short yard situation, we did get brought up to Brew, who picked up a first down in a Virginia game. We sent Brew in motion, faked it to him, and gave it to the running back, and did not get the 4th down. It was the first 4th down attempt of the season. Remember, that was when Virginia got the ball, missed the field goal. We went forward like on our own 30, 20-something yard line, whatever. But there's times when they ain't going to know what you're going to do. You still got to go pick up a yard. But listen, I have no problem with you questioning that play call. The eye in the sky don't lie. You can see who's clawing, who's scratching, who's fighting, who is exhibiting strain. You can see it. I can see it. You can see it too. Number 0, no question about how bad number 0 wants it. No question. No question about number 15. No question. I thought 10 ran his ass off. The smallest dude on the football field. I thought 10 played with some heart, man. I really did. I'm proud of how number 9 bounced back.
How excited were you watching that release at the line of scrimmage on his touchdown? I mean, that thing was a thing of beauty.
It was a great release. It made Joe's job that much easier. A good question here in the text box. Slide dog, can the tight ends be used more or not enough time 10 yards up the middle? Remember, we tried to throw the ball to a tight end. We faked it to the running back. We got exactly what we wanted. Linebackers sucked in, and we threw it, and they tipped it. Why didn't we go back to that? I don't know. But we did try it. Joe had Square White up the seam, I think, for a touchdown on the sack interception. Y'all, the person that hit Joe beat 2 Tennessee offensive linemen. I don't care if the dude's 400 pounds or not. We got 2 dudes who are 300 pounds. Last time I checked, 2 times 300 pounds is more than 400 pounds. But he hit Joe as Joe was throwing, and that was interception.
Yeah, he didn't throw it straight up into the air like everybody was making it seem like. I mean, when has Joe ever done that? You can say a lot about Joe's quarterback play.
Man, people thought he just threw it straight in the air.
Yeah, that's what the reaction seemed like to me. People were just absolutely irate with Joe on that particular play. And
with Joe?
Like, yeah, that was the social media reaction and the message board reaction within the moment. Very, very upset with Joe. It was like people assumed that he threw the ball that way on purpose, and it's like he got hit. Now, I have a hard time believing that ball was going to be completed because Florida did have 2 DBs running side by side with Squirrel on that play down the seam.
One.
But I trust Squirrel to have a step on those guys. And I mean, Squirrel's one of the fastest players in the country. He's going to eventually have a step on those guys at some point within that route. And at worst, it's an arm punt. It's a long incompletion that maybe Joe overthrows.
There was a safety that was facing Joe. There was a corner that was trying to run on the side of Squirrel, but Squirrel had by a step. The DB that was running with Squirrel was on Squirrel's right side. If the safety is looking at Joe, you are not able to run with Squirrel. And so would the pass been completed? I don't know. But Squirrel was running full speed. Like Squirrel had hit another gear, and he was going to be open. The question would be, all right, the flight of the football, would it be enough for Squirrel to be able to run underneath, or would Squirrel have to kind of fade to the sideline, or will he have to curve more to the middle of the football field? That was the only question. But Squirrel had that dude beat. It was opening up. It was opening up big time. That would have been a big play for Tennessee. But
it wasn't the bad decision that everybody made it out to be on Joe's end.
No, it was a bad decision.
Like you're blaming the quarterback just to blame the quarterback in that particular situation. It wasn't a terrible decision to throw the football where he was throwing the football. And earlier within Squirrel's route, I mean, he was open, and Joe was trying to get him the football, and he couldn't step into his throw because he had Florida defenders right in his face and hitting him like that. The decision making is not something that Joe is struggling with. It's maybe some other areas that we can talk about after a break or a little later on. Again, not trying to insinuate that Joe's playing perfect football or playing the football that this team needs him to, but in terms of pure decision making, like he's making good decisions.
Yeah, he can play better. Let's go to the phones. 865-255-03. Good morning.
Hey, y'all. It's Russ.
Hey, Rusty.
What's up, y'all?
What's up?
I know you're the busiest man on earth, and Ben's probably the second. But you guys are the best two things going when y'all are together talking football and giving us knowledge and calmness and wisdom and all the things that this fan base needs to be hearing. We need y'all back together more. And I know I'm not trying to complain. I'm just saying you guys are the best.
I appreciate that, Rusty.
Yeah. Everybody else out there is pretenders compared. What I see, what I saw the other day, what I saw watching it again, which was painful to do, and what I think you're saying is we couldn't beat them when we had the numbers in our favor, and that's what the whole Josh Heupel offense is about. It's about getting numbers in your favor. It's getting numbers in our favor that they put more guys to stop the run than they want to, and then we have the numbers to throw. Mm-hmm. And then it's about getting them to spread out and use more guys covering so they can't stop the run, mm-hmm. and then being able to use the numbers in your favor. And we couldn't do the opposite. Although I think we did. I saw it somewhere. Somebody graded it out that they blitzed Joe 8 times, and on those 8 blitzes, he was 7 of 8.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like that's maybe
first possession they play man, and we burned them on a switch route with Squirrel White up the sideline, and then we got out of that and started playing more 2 high safety. They was rotating a safety down on the snap of the football, but they got out of that real quick, Rusty.
Yep. And that tells me that the issue was when they brought extra pressure, Joe was able to beat the numbers in the secondary. When they played soft, we weren't able to beat the numbers in the box and run the ball at them, which that's all the line deficiencies that we're dealing with. Like you said, we had 6 on 5 on the quarterback draw, and it went for a yard and a half. I see the play over and over in my head numerous times.
You know what I'm talking about, Rusty?
Yes.
Yeah, second possession.
Yeah.
I saw it.
First quarter,
blew my mind.
First quarter, second possession. Yep. It's baffling. How do you not win that battle? Anyway, I want to ask you guys something, and I'm not a ref guy, and this isn't a Tennessee-centric thing. This isn't a Tennessee-centric thing. I think across the country, after 3.5 weeks of football, there's more more contact being allowed in the secondary across the board. I noticed it in games last weekend, and then I noticed it in the game leading up to ours between Missouri and K-State, and then in our game. It seems like defenders are allowed to be getting their hands on and tugging and pulling and grasping and clutching and stuff that has ever happened. It seems like in the past, I'm always like, God, 3rd and 8's brutal because there's a flag being thrown every time for somebody for a slight defensive holding, and now it's just being let go. Is there a directive out there you believe to let more contact in the secondary go on?
I think officiating has been piss poor in the first weeks. Across the board, and in particular the Florida Tennessee game that was bad. The call on McCall and Castles was
that's
egregious, man, to like the 10th degree. The scrum at the end of the game. I mean, where's the flags? Like, you gonna wait till the SEC office watch the film? Like, y'all couldn't see what was going on. I thought the two coaches did not handle the situation well with the timeouts and led to that. But I thought the officiating was it was god awful, man. It was god awful. I saw holding on Pierce, on Tyler Barron. We saw Romel getting his jersey pulled. As a player, you got to play through it. You can't rely on the officials to bail you out. But my goodness, man, it was bad. It was real bad.
Yeah. The couple things on the officiating. The Kansas thing is the worst call of the day, and then the same thing happened in the Colorado State game. The blindside block is hilariously being misofficiated. I believe the secondary thing, the allowed to touch in the secondary is a directive because flags in the secondary that extend drives make games last longer. And I believe that the whole less plays, more commercials is factoring into flags not being thrown in the secondary. I think officials have been talked to about it's got to be egregious for us to call pass interference or defensive holding. That's just a thought. Gina the Great is actually trying to go back last year and chart how many defensive secondary penalties there were as opposed to this year through 3 weeks and see if, because we both believe that it's drastically less now across college football. The operation of the end of the ball game. Mertz, you were there. I don't know. Did we take a snap to kneel on the ball after their 4th down play? Or did they just end the game?
When everybody had to come back out of the locker room after thinking the game was over, we took the ball and took a knee. But
okay. That's the correct operation because on TV we went to Colorado State and I was like, there's 4 seconds left. Mertz took a knee. We should be called for maybe a personal foul, but we still get the ball and have to take a knee. Yeah. But of course, ESPN was covered their self in glory just as much as the officials did.
Hey man, I don't blame them for wanting to get to the Colorado State game.
It's true, but it was already on ESPNU. I mean, there's enough of those ESPN channels right now that we don't have to switch ball games anymore. Be worried about one ending overlap.
Rusty, I didn't want to watch the end of the game, and I was there. Turn that game, man. Turn that game to Colorado State.
Right. Well, again, thanks for all y'all do, and this fan base needs more of Swain and more of Ben.
I appreciate it, Rusty. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rusty.
Thank you for the phone call. Oh boy, I don't have a problem with hitting Graham Mertz. Either take a knee or don't. You want to take a knee and dance around and prance around and play games, play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. I have no problem with that.
It wasn't an egregious hit either.
No.
Like if it would have been an egregious hit, then okay, that's one thing. But if you want to dance around and whatnot, then I don't necessarily mind the. I have a bigger issue with Heupel taking the timeout than I do Amari hitting Graham Mertz in that situation.
Yeah, both of them called timeout, and I know like trying to avoid the delay game, but the game is over. You could have took the delay game and hit the knee, but he called Billy Napier called timeout, Heupel called timeout, and that's what led to what happened. And now both teams have players suspended, and the coaches can look at themselves. Both of them, I think, both of them are in the wrong. All right, we're going to take a quick break. 865-255-03. Big thanks for the phone call, Rusty. Again, 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Hey, Knoxville, we all know the importance of mental health. Most people don't have regular mental health care. They often wait. Let's change that. Isn't it time we all consider our mental health as important as our physical health? If you are ready, Mind Body Wellness in Knoxville can help you design a plan for your mental wellness. We are accessible, affordable, and available. You are worth it. Visit mindbodyknoxville.com to schedule a mental wellness assessment today. When you are craving some quality barbecue, there's only one place to go. Dead End Barbecue. Dead End Barbecue has been featured on ESPN's Taste of the Town, the first barbecue restaurant on the SEC Network, CBS Sports, Headline News Tailgate Show, Amazon Prime's The Restaurant Comeback, Food Paradise, and named one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in America. The search is over. Dead End Barbecue is located on 3621 Sutherland Avenue right here in Knoxville. You can even have it delivered right to your door through Chow Now. Visit their website at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Hey, Vol Nation. This is Charlie Pratt, financial representative with Modern Woodman and MWA Financial Services. Modern Woodman has been touching lives and securing futures for 140 years. Being born and raised here in East Tennessee, I'm honored to help East Tennesseans in all phases of life with retirement planning, investments, and life insurance. A big win on Saturday starts with preparation early in the week. A secure financial future starts with planning today. Contact my office today at 865-919-6468 to review your financial plan and make sure you are on track for success. As always, go Vols.
Registered representative and investment advisor, representative offering securities and advisory services through NWA Financial Services, Inc., a wholly owned subsidiary of Modern Woodman of America, member of FINCRA, SIPC.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Take a deep breath in and release. We're all back together in the AM and life is good. If you have real estate needs, just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols.
Just because you can't call in doesn't mean that you have to sit on the sideline. Impact the show with a text box. It's part of the free Swain Event app.
865-255-03. Swain Event Hotline. I'm live in the Low T Center studio. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. Hope you are having a wonderful morning. Hey, the sun still came out this morning just like it did on Sunday, just like it did on Monday. Knoxville still operating. Knoxville is still taking people that want to be Tennesseans. Knoxville's still open for business. So Ben, if you want to move to Knoxville, what do the good people need to do, Ben?
They need to reach out to Jennifer Morris of Keller Williams Realty. She is the absolute best. She is the GOAT of all realtors all over the country, in fact, but especially here in Knoxville. She is the absolute best. And the best part about Jennifer is she's highly intelligent of what she's doing, obviously. But the best part is how she cares, genuinely cares a tremendous amount about you and your family's experience going through the home buying process. And she worries about it constantly, just trying to make sure that you enjoy the process. And she worries about making it as easy and simple of a process for you as she can. So if you're looking to move to Knoxville, which you should do, because the more and more I travel around the SEC, Swain, and you'll soon realize this, the more you appreciate East Tennessee. I already have a great appreciation for East Tennessee, but when I have to go spend like 2 nights in North Florida, boy, does it give me an even greater appreciation for East Tennessee in the Knoxville area. So if you're looking to move up here, which you should be doing, be sure to reach out to Jennifer Morris of Keller Williams Realty. And she just texted me and said, if you need to get out of Florida, just call her.
Man, I'm going to go to the phones, boy. You ain't never lied about what you just said, sir. 865-255-03. Good morning. Who do we have with us?
Hey, good morning, guys. This is Coy in Macon.
What's up, Coy?
What's up, guys? Hope y'all doing all right this morning.
You too.
Hey, I got a few things that I wanted to ask, and then I'll just hang up, get out your way, and let y'all do your thing. One, on Joe Milton, to me, like in the play, I guess you say in-game play, I think he looks good, man. I mean, definitely good enough. The thing that concerns me is maybe pre-snap decisions. You know, like Florida was getting that too high safety look, then they walk a safety down late, and this, you know, cost us a couple of timeouts. Wanted to get y'all's thoughts on that. And I think y'all talked about this earlier. I had to run my little girl into daycare. But the interception that he threw, you couldn't really tell on TV. Did he have a guy open? I think Ben on his 247 podcast said that he was throwing into double coverage, but then now maybe y'all saying that somebody was open.
No, Square was coming
and then
open. He was coming.
He was?
Yeah,
Okay.
he would have been open. Square was running past the safety who had his chest parallel to the line of scrimmage. And so there's no way you can backpedal and run with a dude, especially at squirrel speed, when he's running straight at you. So that ball would have been launched over the safety's head, up that seam, and Squirrel would have had a chance to make a play. But I wouldn't say it was double coverage, but I understand, you know, why Ben said that. But we like that matchup as a wide receiver and as a quarterback. You know, you have the safety looking at you, and then you have a DB on your right hip. You throw that. Yeah, you throw that, and you let Squirrel go get it. But you got to have time to do that, and he did not have enough time.
Gotcha. Man, my last thing is just moving forward. You know, it seems like the team's got to really come together. You know, like you were talking about on the Josh and Swain yesterday, and move forward. But man, like being on a team like this, you know, something I've never experienced. I mean, if you can't get up for that Florida game, man, how do you do it moving forward? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I feel like it's safe to say that the team wasn't ready to play, wasn't fired up. I mean, how do you make that change in season? What does that look like? I mean, is it possible?
I would say, Coy, and thanks for the phone call, man. Good to hear from you. And that made my heart happy, you telling us you was dropping your kid off of daycare, man. Ain't nothing like those moments. But I wouldn't say that the team wasn't up to play. I mean, I'm on the sideline right there, warm-ups. I'm watching guys. I'm watching to see who's ready, who's not ready, like the energy. There was a good energy when we went to the locker room during warm-ups. We came out. We did a good job holding on defense. We would go down and we score. Great energy on the sideline. But then Florida came and punched back. And when that happened, we started making mistakes and beating ourselves. Pre-snap penalties, penalties on defense, hitting the quarterback late. That's inexperience and lack of football intelligence. You know, those type of plays. We got older players making some of those plays too, which if that continues, they need to be relieved of their duties for the young players. But I wouldn't say we wasn't ready to play. I just would say we didn't do a good job of responding to early adversity. And football is about 3 phases. It ain't just one. Like the offense, yeah, it can be great if your defense is a little bit behind. You can go win a lot of games. But you still, at the same time, it's a complementary game. And we didn't play complementary football at all because our defense didn't do the greatest job in the first half, but came back and did a great job in the second half. But when they did do a great job, we still could not generate touchdowns. So the defense did their job in the second half. Offense just had an all-around rough night, but you have to play together. Now, I don't want to nitpick here because I think sometimes we do that when we are listening to players and coaches talk after a football game where for 60 minutes emotions are running high. And to be honest, who wants to talk about the performance they just had that was a losing performance? Like, who wants to talk? So I do have grace when I'm listening to guys talk after the game. I really do. And I'll be the first one to tell you when people are wanting to point the finger at Joe Milton first. Nah. Mm-mm. It ain't on Joe first. Can Joe play better? Yeah, he can play better. Does he need to play better? Absolutely. He has to play better. But sitting there and just blaming Joe, I said it last week. I'll say it again. It's inaccurate and it's lazy.
Oh, lazy.
It's lazy. But Joe was asked after the game about moving forward and what this team needs to do. And again, like, I'm not nitpicking. I'm not ripping Joe for saying this. But he said, it's all about if we come together or we're going to separate. And what I said on Joshua Swain yesterday is there is no or. It's like, there's no or. Like, when you experience what you experienced on Saturday and you are upperclassmen and you got pride, there ain't no or. Separating is not an option. You burn the ships. You burn the ships. One country or group traveling by a ship to invade another country, and they touch down. You burn the ships. There's only one option. That's to win. That's to become victorious. That is to conquer the enemy. There's no or if we separate. No. I'm a junior. I'm a senior. I'm a sophomore. I'm a freshman. Whatever. I put work in. We're going to figure this out. We're not going to lose because of effort on missed tackles. We're not going to lose because of boneheaded plays. If we lose, it's because you just better than me. But you ain't going to play harder than me. And you're not going to play smarter than me moving forward. That's what everybody can control. Again, I'm not nitpicking on Joe. I'm not picking on Joe. But there should be no or. Because if the offensive line don't get fixed, if you make the same mistakes you made against Florida moving forward, guys, we're gonna lose a whole lot more than 2 or 3 games. So we gotta handle that. 865-255-03.
And I do think one thing about Joe, publicly, he is optimistic and quick to the point, just for the sake of being quick to the point. I think that's kind of how he masks how things went in the game and kind of covers up when speaking, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know,
who wants to talk after that crap? I get it.
Correct.
I'm with you, Joe.
I mean, Aaron Beasley spoke and was clearly unhappy, and
good.
There's the debate about one of his answers to a question I asked him.
Yeah, I don't even know if he understood the answer or even it was weird, to be honest. I'm not taking up for him. I don't know. It was a weird answer.
Aaron Beasley has since, per Tennessee, has since said he did not understand the question, and he should have, in that moment, asked me to ask it again because he did not understand it in the moment.
Gotcha.
But I haven't really spoken publicly about it because I don't want to go in on that comment if he truly did not understand it, which it is very possible. I mean, he sit there and pondered for a moment, And he either pondered because he was pondering whether or not to give the real answer, or he was pondering because he didn't understand what I was asking. And for those who did not see, I asked Aaron because Josh Heupel had just said that they were undisciplined. I asked Aaron if, with the way training camp went, is them being undisciplined against Florida on the road surprising to him? He took a moment before answering. He said no. So either he pondered because he was debating on whether or not to tell the truth, or he truly did not understand what I was asking. I have not. This is honestly the first time I've talked about it on social media or a message board or any form of audio, just because I don't want to hammer home something if he truly did not understand what I was asking. But to Koya Macon's call, Swain, and his point about Joe, that's kind of where I'm at with Joe Milton, and not kind of, that's exactly where I'm at with Joe Milton. I actually think he's playing well physically. I don't think he's playing well mentally. I hope that makes sense. And it's more the pre-snap mental side of things, because we talked about it earlier. He's making decisions, good decisions, post-snap, which part of that is pre-snap in terms of recognizing the coverage, understanding where you probably need to go with the ball when the ball is snapped, and then once the ball is snapped, confirming what you saw pre-snap and executing the play. But it's the offense is clunky, it's labored, it's typically always been this way under Joe, and no, he can't control an offensive lineman jumping or the offense as a whole being lined up incorrectly. And I guess I'm more so speaking about the offensive lineman jumping, but it's just become a common theme with Joe as quarterback that there are pre-snap penalties, and the tempo is not where it has been the last 2 years that we've become accustomed to under Josh Heupel with Hendon Hooker at quarterback. Personally, I think that is maybe a lack of trust in Joe. I think they are really trying to slow down and make sure that they're getting the play in. That's my outlook on things. I could be totally wrong on that, but
can you say the same thing for Vanderbilt and Clemson last year when Joe was starting quarterback and Cooper was the center?
I did not feel this way about Clemson. No, Vanderbilt's Vanderbilt. I mean,
but operating offense, still operating offense with precision, no matter from a tempo standpoint and getting the guys lined up and pre-snap.
No, I did not feel this way. I felt this way about Joe when he was first the starting quarterback in 2021, and then through these first 3 games this season. It's labored, it's clunky, it doesn't feel like guys are doing what they need to do, where guys need to be. The tempo is not what it's been, and I think that's partly on Joe. I don't like the execution of the offense. I don't think he's operating the offense at the highest level possible. I think when it comes time to make a throw, he's doing a fairly decent job there. It's just operating this offense at the efficient level that Josh Heupel wants it to. I don't know that he's doing that.
Our center fake snapped the football during the Florida game. I mean, I get what you're saying. I do think if we can't say the same things happen when Cooper, Jerome Carvin, Javonte Spraggins, Darnell Wright,